All right, we have a new tornado warning, which is now in effect here for Jeff Davis County. We've been watching the storm. We've been posting about social media, showing rotation. Now that rotation looking a little bit better. So I want to show you what we have as far as the radar goes. An impressive line of some storms. We'll go ahead and kind of track this out for us right now. Put the alerts on, show you where we do have that warning, which is in effect. And that's going to be that tornado warning, which is in effect here right for Jeff Davis County. And that's going to go through, I believe, that 4:15 time frame. So let's go ahead and we're going to zoom on down to that area. We're going to show you where we have that warning in here right now as we continue to follow that. Dylan, if you can go ahead and zoom on down to that area right here, and we'll put the velocity on there because it's been showing some good rotation crossing out of Coffee County and then heading over into Jeff Davis County right now. So that's going to be the storm which we're going to continue to follow here. Dylan, if you're going to take over, you're going to have to take it out of play mode to go ahead and do that. So he's going to take it out of play mode. We're going to go and show you that. It's crossing over right along 221, it looks like, in Jeff Davis County right now. So we'll go ahead and put the radar on there to show you where we have all the rain showers and getting up towards the Denton area. That has a lot of lightning associated with this as well. We'll put the velocity coming on, and we're going to take it out of the Macon radar right now, the velocity, and that will be this radar right there. And you can see this is the area we're watching here, which has the rotation, which has prompted the warning right over the Denton region. So let's go ahead and kind of zoom into this area to see where we can find any street level areas which are kind of in the path of that along 221, it looks like. So we're looking at the circulation right here. Let's go ahead and take that top off. Just go ahead and click onto that if we could and get rid of that. So there we are right now. So we're looking at, here's 221, heading over towards the Denton area. We got County Road 320, which is going to be in the path of this rotation here, which has prompted that tornado warning for Jeff Davis County until 4:15. So what we need you to do is get in your safe shelter, your safe place, lowest level of your home, an interior bathroom, an interior closet, away from any windows. You want as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. This storm will continue to work to the north at about 25 miles per hour, Dylan? 20 to 25 miles per hour, yeah. So it's going to be moving up towards the Denton area very closely. You got Yankee Road just to the north of that. So if you're watching anywhere over in this area, this is where we are seeing the rotation, which has prompted the warning. Take a little bit of a wider view here, and we'll track a little bit more out to the north of that. Here, heading up towards the Denton area, getting up towards the Brooker region, it looks like, again, along 221 as the storms are moving almost parallel, right along 221, it looks like. So Alabama Street, Kentucky Avenue, Kane Road, Ellis Drive, these are the areas which are seeing some of that rotation as this storm continues to make its way out to the north. So let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. If you're just tuning in, we do have a new tornado warning, which is in effect here for Jeff Davis County. We'll put the alerts on here for you, and it's going to go until 4:15 this afternoon here for especially just over the border now of Coffee County. It's Jeff Davis County. There's the circulation where we have the reds and the greens, seeing some of the winds there, which are kind of moving away from the radar here on the south side and towards the radar there on the north side, which has prompted that warning. You know, along with that, we're seeing some rotation with a lot of lightning, but we're also seeing some hail embedded in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at that hail tracker to show you that we have some hail. It's in the next one over here onto the track. Go down to the hail, and then there you go. So probably seeing at least 1-inch hail reported over here into the Denton area as far as what we're looking at on our hail tracker. And this is all going to head up towards the Hazelhurst region here very shortly. So if you're watching over in Hazelhurst, let's put a tracker on that. Put the radar back on, and we'll put a tracker on where this storm is expected to go as it heads out to the north at about 25 miles per hour. So there's the storm right now, heading out generally to the north here. So the Roper region into the Hazelhurst area, this is where the storm is going to go. It's going to be under track, and then we're going to put the cone on there, Dylan, under the track and the cone. And that'll put it right up there, heading up towards Hazelhurst. So we're seeing that by about 4:15. Lumber City at 4:20 as well. So if you're watching anywhere, again, this is where we need to be in the safe shelter. This storm has a history of producing some rotation with it. We had a funnel cloud reported near the West Green area there in Coffee County earlier. Now we're looking at that rotation, which is a little bit tighter. So the Weather Service at Jacksonville, Florida, has issued that tornado warning for Jeff Davis County going through 4:15 p.m. So let's put the velocity back on there, and we'll show you where we actually have the winds in there. This is what we're looking at, the reflectivity showing where we have the precipitation. But when we have the tornado warnings, we look at what the winds are doing, and this is what the area we're continuing to watch right over the Denton region now, heading north of Lehigh along 221. Let's go ahead and zoom on into some towns here and little streets just kind of north of where we're looking at, so where the storm is headed. So into the Booker area. If you're watching now on County Road 121, this storm is going to be headed up into your region, the Ellis Drive area. That rotation here, which we're looking at just along and looks like maybe just east of 221, is heading northward. So if you're watching anywhere into the Brooker region, this storm is going to be headed into your area with potential rotation associated with that system as well. That warning does go through 4:15. We're going to stay with you until that warning is going on. Anything in the chat there, Dylan, of what they're saying with the National Weather Service? Any type of rotation? I got chat pulled up on the computer. You can take a look at that.
Looking at 60-mile-per-hour gusts and still quarter-sized hail associated with this storm. So if it's not the tornado aspect of it, still lots of hail moving through that area as well.
Yeah, and then quarter-size hail is pretty much the 1-inch hail, which is the threshold for seeing a severe thunderstorm, and we do have that rotation associated with that as well. So a wider view shows that, let's take a look at a wider view and show you what we have as far as the setup here. We'll put the the radar back on, I'm sorry, the radar back on, and keep taking a larger view here, and we'll show you what we have as far as where that storm is going. So there it is right now. The storm stretches from West Green right up 221, Lehigh, into the Denton area. Check out all those lightning strikes. Can we put a query on how many lightning strikes in this area right here, Dylan? Just encompass all those areas here. We should be able to just kind of drag your cursor right over it. Yep, and that will give us pretty much an approximate, almost 100 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes associated with that one storm as it continues to make its way out to the north. Now, we have a lot of rain. Let's put this in motion just to show you how quickly these storms are working along the 221 area. If you're watching in Baxley, you're okay for right now, but there's more storms down to the south that we're going to have to watch. So let's go ahead and widen out a little bit, Dylan, and show you what we have as far as the other storms we're going to continue to watch here. Storms now moving just to the west of Waycross here in northern Ware County. It's going to lift into Bacon County. So Alma will be watching that closely as it continues to work to the north. Non-severe as of right now, but starting to get a little bit of lightning associated with that. The main area we're watching is right there into the Denton region. So if you're just tuning in, we do have that tornado warning. We'll put the warnings back on with that storm, and that's going to go through 4:15 this afternoon, and that does include pretty much here into the Denton area along into Jeff Davis County. You see another tornado warning back out to the west near the Abbeville region. That's not going to be impacting our area, but it just shows the rotation that this line has, and with that potential in place, we still have that tornado watch in effect for all areas south of the Altamaha River, and that's going to go through 7 o'clock this evening. So that's what we're going to continue to watch. You see that outlined red area, including Baxley, Jessup, into Glenn County. That's where the watch goes, meaning conditions are favorable for seeing one or two of these storms having a little bit of rotation, and that's what we could still see as this main band continues to lift north of the area. I do think the storm chances are going down pretty quickly as the storm line moves through the area, but with it, 2 tornado warnings associated with it. So we'll go back over here, check out the velocity of that storm in Jeff Davis County. That warning goes through 4:15. Zooming on in, a lot of lightning. We're seeing reports here, actually indications, I should say, of hail upwards of about 1 inch in diameter, quarter-size hail, and we're still seeing some of that rotation possibly here over just to the east of the Denton area as it continues to make its way out to the north. So that's why we do have that tornado warning in effect for Jeff Davis County. So if you're watching in Lehigh, the storm has moved north of your area. You're okay. You're out of the woods for right now. Denton, let's go ahead and zoom on in. Most of this is more east of 221 if you're watching. Even into the Brooker area, it looks like we're still going to see some more of that activity here. Zoom in just a little bit to get some of these streets here. County Road 121, Rhonda Coleman Road. This rotation is going to be headed up into your area, so you need to be in your safe shelter, lowest level of your home, interior room, interior closet, interior bathroom. You want as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Not a bad idea to go ahead and bring a helmet or something to protect your head from any type of flying debris if we have any of that in this particular storm. Now, this is a radar indicated storm. Let's see if we can check out the correlation coefficient to see if we see any type of debris detection associated with that. Heading down to the CC, you had it over there, going down to the now, down to CC right there, and come out of the Macon radar. There you go. Yep, KJGX. If you can go to that one, KJGX. That's going to show, doesn't look too bad out there. We're not seeing any type of debris detection, meaning we're not seeing any debris kind of lifted into the atmosphere, which is a pretty good indication that there's some type of tornado there lifting that debris. We're not seeing that out there right now. Most of this here is going to be more of a rain across the region. So that's definitely some good news there. We'll go back over to our warnings and show you that we do have that tornado warning still into effect. Because of this storm, which is producing that warning right over the Denton area now, and that's going to continue heading to the north at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. A lot of lightning associated with this. We could see some winds gusting 50 to 60 miles per hour, and we're going to see a lot of hail, could be up to 1 inch in diameter. So it is a severe thunderstorm. We are looking at rotation possible. That's why we have that tornado warning in effect associated with that. And this is coming out of the National Weather Service office over in Jacksonville. Any other news on the chat over there, Dylan?
Quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour gusts still possible with this storm. No confirmed tornado on the ground, though, so we'll keep you updated on that.
That's good. Again, this is the same storm which did have a tornado, a funnel cloud reported, I should say, down near the West Green area in Coffee County from a trained weather spotter. So this did have some rotation with it. The radar is still picking up rotation with this system with a lot of heavy rain and a lot of lightning with it. We'll go back over to our velocity right now, and this is where we can track what the winds are doing inside of the storm. And this is basically just for Jeff Davis County to the east of the Denton region, east of 221, north of Lehigh. This is where we're watching the potential for seeing a little bit of rotation embedded in this storm as well. Red is indicating winds which are going away from the radar, green indicating winds which are going towards the radar. And we had a little bit more of a tighter couplet earlier as it was down near the Lehigh area. This is a little bit more of a broad rotation associated with it. It looks like it's going to be passing east of the Snipesville area along 107, Georgia 107, but US 221 and just east of that in the Denton area. That's where we are seeing the rotation, which has prompted this warning. Now, it's going to continue to head to the north, this storm. And we are still seeing the conditions which are favorable for seeing this continue to have some rotation in there. Could weaken just a little bit, could maybe regain some strength, but we're going to continue to watch it. Time right now is 3:56, so we still have another 18 minutes or so for this warning to be continuing out there until 4:15 as it heads out to the north. Again, into the track of this, let's widen out a little bit, and we'll put a tracker on here, or a storm cone on there, and just to show you as we track it out to the north, here at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. On that trajectory, it's probably going to get through the Roper area, get up towards Hazelhurst, it looks like, putting out that tracker. There's your time on that, the Roper region by about 4:10. So it's about another 14 minutes from now. Hazelhurst coming up at about 4:22. And if it holds together, that rotation, Lumber City possibly around that 4:30 time frame. Most of that might be a little bit further out to the east of that, but we'll wait and see as this continues to make its way out to the north. So let's go ahead and take a look at the velocity again as we take the storm cone off of there. This is where we're seeing that rotation. So if you're watching over in Snipesville, looks like you're okay. Lehigh, you're okay in Jeff Davis County. Coffee County, the storm has already moved out of your area and will continue to make its way out to the north. If you're watching over in the Graham region, anywhere on the west side of that, I'd be watching the storm closely. If you're on the east side of town, I think the storm's going to pass out to your west. But Roper has got a bullseye, it looks like, heading up towards your region. So if you're watching over in there, kind of along and east of US 221, this is the area that we're going to be seeing this rotation right there to the east of Denton, continuing to make its way to the north. Again, it's not as tight of a couplet as we were looking at before. When I say tight couplet, we're looking at as far as the winds which are going away from the radar and next to the radar as strong, right next to each other. A little bit more broad out there right now. But continue to seeing that warning still into effect. Again, we stay on air as long as that warning is in effect from the National Weather Service in Charleston. They're the ones that have issued this tornado warning for Jeff Davis County. but we're continuing to see, looks like that's the latest scan, which popped up over here, and we're still seeing that now. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more here, kind of just south of the Roper area, where the storm is going to be moving to because it's continuing to work its way northward. So here's some areas here to the north, some of the roads, if you're watching over in this area here, Elizabeth Church Road, Preston Crawford Road, looks like, what is this one here? Cotton Patch Road. These are the areas, roads of kind of in the direct path of where that circulation is. This is a Doppler radar indicated rotation associated with this storm. So we do have that tornado warning, and it is going to go through that 4:15 time frame. So we'll continue to watch that storm. This is where the storm is headed. The storm itself is just a little bit further down to your south, so you have a few minutes to prepare for that if you're watching over in those areas. The storm, as we move further down to the south, Dylan, we'll track where that storm is. There you can see where we are watching more of the reds indicated here, some of that rotation possibly here just over the Rhonda-Coleman Road, and then continuing to work kind of on the east side of the Brooker region. Let's see what this little town is. Can we see what that one is? Is that Country Road 121, it looks like? That's right where the circulation is. And if you have any reports of any damage, of any type of funnel cloud, or if you see that tornado, you could always message us on our Facebook pages, and we'll hopefully get that information and kind of relay it to the National Weather Service as well. But as of right now, again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. Let's move that up a little bit, get it out of that ticker here so we can see that where we are looking at that warning. Down the other way, if we could, Dylan. Yeah, back up so we can kind of center it a little bit. So here is the Jeff Davis County area. Still seeing that rotation in there, which has prompted the warning. The storm is moving away from the Denton area now, so it's heading up right up towards Country Road 121, east of, looks like US 221, and east of the Brooker region, but it's going to be heading out to the north. So anywhere on this area here, kind of just moving north of Yankee Road, Bell Telephone Road, these are the areas which we are seeing the storm at now. So anywhere north of that, again, we need to be prepared as we're looking at that rotation associated with the storm. So let's go back out. Let's take a home view, Dylan, if we could. If we go back over to the top here, just to show you, go to camera, go to home. That's going to give us more of a home view here, kind of reset ourselves if you're just tuning in. Most of the area is drying out. We talked about this being scattered showers in here today. Heavier rains moving over away from the Hilton and Island area. They're going to have the play resuming there shortly over at Harbortown. But it's this line of some storms, if we can kind of move this further up here so we can check out those storms moving down to the south and put that into motion. And we can see these are the storms, the ones we are going to be watching here that have the potential to produce some of that rotation. And they extend right over from the Denton area down into Waycross and then heading down into the St. Mary's region. These are all going to lift northward. So we have a few more hours to go. We're going to be watching this line of showers and storms. I think once this moves through your area, your severe threat will be decreasing for the rest of today. But we'll watch this one closely. As of right now, putting the warnings on there, we still have that tornado warning, which is in effect for Jeff Davis County. And that's going to go through 4:15. So we put the warnings on there. There's the watch as well. Notice how they trim back the watch, it looks like. So Waycross no longer under that tornado watch. So they're really thinking that this line is the last gasp, the last threat of seeing that any type of tornadic activity. And it's still producing that potential tornado. We had that one warning here for Jeff Davis County going through 4:15. So again, once that line moves through your area, your severe weather threat will be over with for the rest of tonight. But zooming in, we still have that warning again here for Jeff Davis County. We'll put the velocity back on there and we'll track that. A lot of lightning. We're looking at a lot of hail associated with this system as well. And as we can see, we put over the velocity back on there. We can still track some rotation embedded in that storm, which is producing that potential tornado at any time. This is definitely producing rotation in the clouds, aloft, above us in the sky. Now, whether that rotation is making its way down to the ground or not, that remains to be seen. We haven't had any confirmation of a tornado or any type of damage on the ground, but that rotation is there. And anytime you have that rotation spotted in the storm, it could easily translate to circulation down at the ground. So that's why I want to make sure you are prepared for that, of that potential here in Jeff Davis County. Again, Lehigh, you're fine. And Denton looks like you're okay now. The storm is going to be moving out to more of the north of your area, more east, it looks like, of 221. And still with that tornado warning in effect for Jeff Davis County. So if you're watching over in the Roper area, and we had some of those street level names over here in this area, kind of this east and south of the Roper region, this is where you need to be in a safe shelter, because this is where the storm is going to be heading in your region. So here we are, Cotton Patch Road, Eugene Lewis Road. These are the ones here, Elizabeth Church Road, where the storm is going to be heading. So that's where we want you to be in your safe shelter until we get all clear that we're not seeing any more of that rotation associated with this storm. The lowest level of your home, if you have a 2-story home, get down to the first level. If you have maybe living in a mobile home, you might want to seek some more sturdier shelter. You got a few minutes to get there before the storm moves into your area. If you're in a single family, a 1-story home, I should say, lowest level of your home, interior rooms such as a bathroom or a closet, and putting as many walls in between you and yourself would be a good choice with this system. So there's where the storm is going to be heading. The storm itself is a little bit further down to the south. Still not hearing any type of debris damage or any type of concerns out there in Jeff Davis County. Dylan, are we hearing anything?
No actual reports on the storm. It's still only radar indicated tornado warning. So still no reports of a touchdown. Good news there. But everything else is still looking the same. 60-mile-an-hour gusts, quarter-size hail associated with it.
Yeah, let's put the hail back on there as well, because we were seeing at least quarter-size hail, which is representative of probably 1 inch in diameter hail. That's enough to do some damage to your car and your home as well. Not as intense as it was earlier, but still producing a lot of hail, it looks like here, right along 221 with the heaviest rain band, the strongest updrafts of those storms allowing the hail to really get going over in that region. That's going to continue to work its way out to the north as well at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put the amount of lightning associated with this. We got a lot of the rain and over there. So if you got travel plans, maybe kids coming home from school, after school activities in here, this is going to be a travel problem over in there along 221 heading into the Denton area. We see a lot of the lightning strikes, about 54, so not as many as we had earlier. That's a good thing, because that's usually a sign that the storm is kind of weakening just a bit after it pulsed up very quickly, moving out of Coffee County and into now Jeff Davis County. But we're still seeing the potential for some rotation. There is rotation in the storm that the radar is seeing, and we can see that as we switch back over to the velocity of the storm. And that shows you where we are looking at the winds inside that system. So, and it's still potentially here, especially right over in this general region right here, we are seeing the rotation. It's still kind of a broad rotation in there, but the red indicating winds which are going away from the radar, which is located up in the Warner-Robins area to the north and west, and the green indicating winds which are going towards the radar. So this is where we're seeing that broad circulation. Not a good-looking couplet as of right now, as well-defined a couplet, I should say, as it was just about 15 minutes ago. But we're still seeing that broad rotation. So I believe the weather service is going to hold on to this warning here, because it does go through 4:15 p.m. But we're not hearing any reports of any damage, which is going to be good news. But the storm itself is continuing to work its way out to the north at 20 to 25 miles per hour. And that's going to take it east of Roper, it looks like, and right up towards the Hazelhurst area. So we'll go ahead and time this out for us again as we continue to see this working its way to the north. Yeah, let's take a little larger view here. We'll get some more cities in here. There's the storm, and it's working its way generally out to the north. So Hazelhurst at 426, Tallahassee area, 435, and McNatt Falls area by about 449. Most of that will put it out of Jeff Davis County, heading up towards, it looks like more Montgomery County into Wheeler County area here, once it gets out of the Jeff Davis County region, crossing over the Altamaha River here, probably within the next 25 minutes or so. But so the storm itself is still showing some rotations. We're still going to hold on to that warning, but the good news is we haven't had any reports of any damage associated with this, but it is certainly a severe thunderstorm with the potential for a tornado in there. The signature isn't as intense as it was earlier. That's definitely a good sign out there, but a lot of lightning from Hazelhurst now right down 221, Roper into the Denton area, moving out of the Lehigh region. This is going to continue to head out to the north. So we're not seeing any type of rotation or as far as any confirmed rotation producing a tornado at this time, but we're still holding on to that warning associated with this system as we continue to see that. We do have that warning in there. We don't need that radar. If you guys can take that out in here, we can take that out just to show you what we have out there. We'll go ahead and back and put a large view here. So if you're just tuning in right now, Dylan, let's go more of a home view just to show you what we have. If you're just tuning in, most of the area is dry. The tornado threat is going to be with this line of storms right now, stretching from Hazelhurst, heading down to the Waycross area, and then down towards St. Mary's. This is going to continue to lift to the north. The greatest potential for tornadic activity is going to be south of the Altamaha River. That's where we are seeing that only warning we have, which is a tornado warning now, continuing for Jeff Davis County, and that's going to go through 4:15. None of the other storms are warned right now, but notice we're getting a lot more lightning associated with those storms near Waycross, so we'll watch those getting over towards the Pierce County and eastern areas of Bacon County here as that lifts to the north and eventually getting into the Appling County area. So that's what we're dealing with right now. We still have about another 5 minutes to go for that warning for Jeff Davis County. So we're going to go ahead and zoom back into that area with that storm here in Jeff Davis County. And it's that line, and it's working here. It's a very thin line. It's already moved through West Green, so your severe weather threat pretty much over with for right now. The storm is just about to get into western areas there of Appling County with a lot of the lightning. You're probably hearing the lightning, maybe hearing the thunder, I should say, and seeing the lightning, getting some of that heavier rain. Their tornado warning just for this little area right here. Let's put the velocity back on, and that'll show us where we are seeing the winds inside that storm, which potentially could be producing that tornado. And this is why we still have that warning, is for this area here where the red is meeting the green. That's where we could potentially be seeing some rotation associated with this storm as it continues to make its way out to the north. So we are not seeing any reports, still not hearing any reports of anything on the ground, but the storm itself is still a severe thunderstorm. We're going to see some winds gusting in there. Can we put a query on some of the winds associated with this right in here? As far as the velocities, what we're seeing out there right now. If we can, so we're seeing basically a 31 mile per hour wind. If we can just kind of click on that, that'll give us more of the velocities. If we just click on a specific area, there you go. So we're seeing velocities here going towards the radar, and the reds are going to be the velocities which are going away from the radar at 34 miles per hour. So could see some winds gusting in there at times. But we're still seeing a little bit of rotation, which has prompted this warning for the next 4 minutes or so. So we'll see if the Weather Service is going to continue with that. Normally here, when we have a couple minutes left of that warning, they will let you know whether they're going to continue that warning, whether they're still seeing rotation in there, which they think is going to be continuing to continue with that warning. But I can tell you right now that what we're looking at, the signature right here, not as impressive as it was earlier as far as seeing that rotation associated with that storm. But we are definitely seeing it. Whether it's making its way down to the ground or not remains to be seen. But we would still going to play it on the safe side here as the storm continues to work its way to the north, right in between US 221 and US 23, east of Roper, heading up towards the Hazelhurst region as it continues to make its way out to the north at about 20 to 25 miles per hour. So got a lot of lightning with it. We have some hail. We had a lot of hail associated with this system, and we can see all the lightning now moving east of 221 into the Roper area, and that's going to lift into the Hazelhurst region, seeing a lot of that rain and lightning and heavy rain associated with that as well. As far as the hail tracker goes, again, we are still seeing some hail with this system, probably at least dime-size hail in here as it's getting now over towards US 23, east of Roper. And this is going to head up towards the Graham region, in between Graham and Hazelhurst, right along, it looks like, US 341. So it looks like the tornado warning is going to continue for the next couple of minutes. We're not seeing much in the way of any type of warning. We are going to continue to see that as far as any type of rotation with this, whether the Weather Service is going to continue to keep this warning or not. I think this is probably going to be allowed to expire here at the 4:15 time frame. That's when the warning is going to go to, as of right now. But there's a look at the radar. We have 2 tornado warnings associated with this line of storms, one in Hazlehurst, getting closer to Hazlehurst, the other one just out of our viewing area, heading up towards the Dublin region along I-16. But until this line moves on through, we're going to keep that tornado watch. Conditions are favorable in this watch area for one of these storms to be maybe intensifying just a little bit for some brief rotation associated with that storm. So that's the main area we're going to be watching now. This area here, let's put the rotation on here, the velocity if we could, Dylan, maybe coming out of the Jacksonville office for that storm down near Waycross, because that's showing a lot of lightning. That's intensifying pretty quickly as well. So we'll put the velocity on here, again, coming out of the Jacksonville office, a little closer to the Jacksonville office. Let's go to the JAX one, if we could go to that one. And that's going to see if there's any type of rotation associated with that out of Jacksonville. Thankfully, not seeing much in the way of any of that rotation here in the Waycross areas. It's lifting into western areas of Pierce County and eventually getting into the the Bacon County region here, just to the east of US 1 near Dixie Union. So that's good news. So I just wanted to check on that. The area we're watching is, let's move this up here and move it over towards the Jeff Davis County region, east of the Denton area. That's where we do have that warning, still for the next minute or so, and we'll see if they continue with that. I'm assuming that warning is going to be allowed to expire, but our policy is we do stay on air whenever we have a tornado warning in effect for our immediate viewing region, and I think that is going to be allowed to expire. We're still seeing some very broad rotation as opposed to that very tight rotation which we had earlier, which prompted the warning near the Lehigh area. So we got another minute or so. I think that's pretty much it for this. I think we're going to send it back over to programming, and we're going to continue to follow this, but it looks like that rotation has pretty much ended associated with that storm, and we'll update you as we continue to go on. Updates, of course, always on the WTOC First Alert Weather app.